So in today's session, before we get on to the news and roundup of AI models and humanoid robots and drones and all kinds of AI-related machines, I think it's good if we started with a joke and a non-technical joke, because when I was doing my research for this podcast, I came across X. I think there's an account called The Simple Man or something, and he shared something very interesting. So he talks about the fact that he's on his farm and there's a drug enforcement officer, DEA officer, who comes around, and he says to him, "Listen, we're here to check your farm out to make sure that you're not growing any drugs, and so we'd like to inspect your farms." So the farmer says, "Fine, you can go ahead and do that, but just that field, I suggest you don't go there."
Yeah.
So this DE officer, he gets upset and he gets furious, and he takes out his badge, the police badge, the officer badge of drug enforcement, and he says, "I represent the government, and we're allowed legally to check any piece of land anywhere at at any time. You can, so you can't stop us." So have I made myself clear? So he almost pushes the badge in the guy's face. So the farmer obviously gets intimidated, and he apologizes and he says, "Okay, and go ahead." And so the farmer goes about his own work, and the officers, go and start looking in the fields. Now he says, after a few minutes, he says, "I hear screams of the officer, running, and he's being chased by a bull, by one of the big bulls that he had in his field." And he says, the officer is running for his life. He's terrified, and he's about to gore the officer. So he says, "I leave what I'm doing," the farmer says. "I drop my stuff and I run to the edge of the fence.
Yeah.
And I shout at the officer. I said, 'Badge, show him your freaking badge.'" But speaking of jokes, as you'd have seen in the last few days, there's a lot of viral news which has gone on about the Clawdbot, which has now been renamed as the Maltbot. And so we could, thing, we could almost call it as Claude versus Claude, where the first Claude is the one with the U, which is the big model. Anthropic's, it's Anthropic's model.
Yeah.
And that is focused primarily on software development. So developers, love this for its functionality of easing software development.
Yeah.
And so there was a guy who released this open source Clawdbot, which was meant to work with Claude, but it can work practically with any model at the back end. It can work with ChatGPT or Grok or any other model.
Yeah.
And so what it is designed to do is, it's supposed to be one of those agents, who will look at all your stuff and start doing things for you.
Yeah.
And you talk to it, just like you would talk to a human. So, you can give it different names. So you can call it, most people will call it Henry or James or whatever.
Yeah.
And you could ask him to do stuff and it'll start doing stuff for you.
Yes.
Now, if you download it on your machine, obviously it will start having access to your bank account and to all your emails and to your private, stuff, which is not great. And this is probably why when this got viral, everybody was saying you need to install this on a Mac Mini. Not because it would only run on a Mac Mini, because a Mac Mini is almost like, Apple's version of a separate, let's say machine or a software operating system where you could, use it for testing.
Yeah.
Because if you install it on your own machine, it will have access to everything that you typically do. And this is where the second joke, comes across with, I think there was a guy called, his name is Cheyenne. And he wrote a very interesting tweet, when this was going viral in the first 24 hours. He said, so last night I downloaded the Clawdbot. And he said, I downloaded it on my Mac Mini. I said, just handle my life. And he said, I went to go to sleep. And he says, when I got up, it had already submitted resignation to my boss, to my employer. And he had negotiated a year and a half's salary, getting into my bank account.
Yeah.
And then he says the other thing is, he had sent divorce papers to my wife.
Yeah.
Because he'd figured out that probably the relationship wasn't going great, and that if he got a divorce, he would get, I can't remember, half the house or full the house. So he went on to that. Then he says, interestingly, although this is humorous, this is funny, but it can very much happen. Similar stuff can actually happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
In real life. So he says, he connected with another Clawdbot.
Yeah.
And he said the two of them got together and they opened up a company, for my stuff. And he said, I'm not on that board.
Yeah.
And the last thing he said was very interesting. He said, he said, I no longer have access to my bank account. And the Clawdbot was telling me, this is for your own good at the moment. So that was a very interesting, funny tweet.
I think,
Yeah.
I think this is very interesting because the social media that we are using, that we were
Yeah.
using before this
Yeah.
sudden burst in AI,
Yeah.
it was kind of before we had complete control over what we were using our phones and
Yeah.
computers for.
Yeah.
And then slowly it started shifting to the social media having more control over what you're watching than yourself, I think.
You're referring to the algorithms.
The algorithms, yeah,
Right,
because you
right.
flip through one video and you see something
Yeah.
else and then you see something else.
Yeah.
And you're not complete, it's not, you don't make a conscious decision that this is what I want to watch. You're just watching whatever is, whatever the computer is showing you.
That's a good point, because although we're talking more about AI now, last year, couple of years, when ChatGPT and all of this stuff exploded.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. AI actually, the most, let's say, prominent or the most powerful use of AI was happening already
Yes.
in the algorithm space. So
Yeah.
in terms of what videos you get to watch, in terms of what content you see on social media,
Yes.
stuff that you like. At times, it'll test you out with stuff that you haven't seen previously.
Yeah.
And so yes, AI,
And I think a similar thing is happening with AI, where you start using it, okay, this is what I have in mind, this is what I want to accomplish, and then it will take you down its own path, I think.
yeah,
No,
no,
it can.
that's a very interesting point, because I think what you're saying is it's sort of designed in a way where you almost sort of, yourself start getting caught up in this,
Yeah, absolutely.
in this mess where initially you think it's interesting, you
Yeah.
think it's very helpful, it's convenient,
Yeah.
it makes sense,
Yeah.
and you start you start using it, and
Yeah.
this is where if we step back and look at the bigger picture, I think one of the things that when we talk about our reference model of the platinum man, is one of the things that this guy should be able to do, which is obviously just a model for what we should all be able to do, is to be able to spot the narratives,
Yeah.
or to spot trends or things which are happening. Are these natural or are these engineered? Now it might sound controversial, but personally I have a feeling that when Facebook started, just in the very beginning, it wasn't really a very complicated piece of software,
Yeah.
but there was a hype that was created around it worldwide.
Yeah.
And this, I think, from an intelligence perspective, was probably one of the biggest successful, I guess, projects that the intelligence people have had over the centuries.
Yes.
So previously, a lot of money and effort, time used to be spent to finding out, where is this guy, who's this guy, what is he like, what are his positive points, what are his weaknesses.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden there was this hype, which was focused on exploiting people's, sort of, let's say, I wouldn't say self-esteem, but because a lot of people would like to be, seen and heard. I would go as far as saying it was initially given a cover of, this is, the name social media.
Yeah.
Although we've seen, now we know that, social media is actually antisocial, because you end up staying all days on the phone.
Yeah.
And they're beginning to miss out on the real life
Absolutely.
richness and experience and that mental stability that you get in interacting with normal people.
Yeah.
And so I guess in a way you could almost say this was a psyop,
Yeah.
which was or a psychological operation, which people say nowadays. And so similarly, WhatsApp.
Yeah.
WhatsApp, I remember when it started off, it was a very normal piece of software. I mean, you just put any 3-4 good developers, and you could have made something which was a hell of a lot better than WhatsApp. And even the name initially was like, WhatsApp, what kind of a name is that? But then there was somehow, I personally suspect this was engineered, there was a huge hype that was, blown around, everybody needs to be on WhatsApp, and WhatsApp is this new app, and WhatsApp. And the reason I think this hype is created, is engineered, is to get maximum number of people
Yeah.
on a certain platform.
Yes.
Because then it doesn't really matter whether your software is good or not.
Yeah.
If you manage to get a maximum number of people on your platform, that's it.
Yeah.
That's where you become really, really powerful.
Yes.
Because then you begin to have almost full access to data of people's private lives and business lives and what they do and their interests, and then you can use it in 100 different ways. There are legitimate ways where you could use it for advertising,
Yes.
and you could use it. So you immediately you become very powerful. And then just the hype of it, the fact that so many people are using it, then, takes a normal company from, just a few $100,000 to millions and billions and, close to the trillion mark space.
Yes.
So that is what has happened with Facebook. That is what has happened both with WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And I don't know about but I suspect the amount of videos that we saw coming in the first, 24 to 48 hours on this Clawdbot thing.
Yeah.
It felt as if that this might also be an engineered thing.
Yeah.
Although this is very interesting.
Yeah. I think.
Unlike WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Or unlike Facebook.
Yeah.
I personally found this very interesting.
Yeah, I think the shift towards agentic AI is going to be very useful for companies and for individuals, because it's going to make it very easy for you to do a lot of things, to automate a lot of things, and it will be very effective for a business to have all the processes that they're typically spending a lot of time on, to automate them completely using these AI agents.
Yeah.
But I think in the long run, or if you like the content that, because now the agents are also working on content creation.
Yes.
And a lot of people are using agents to create content.
Yeah.
Is going to be because it's all the information that it's getting, or all the results that it's coming up with, is all the information that it currently has.
Right.
So I think in the long run it might make humans less creative if they rely too much on
absolutely. Absolutely. And already if you go on to LinkedIn or to X, I was initially pleasantly surprised, but then I'm not sure if it's actually a pleasant surprise in terms of you will see people, historically who haven't had posted much stuff. They come up with all kinds of posts which are good and interesting and funny, and most of that is AI.
Yeah.
And that is why I posted a tweet. I posted something on LinkedIn the other day where I said, it's probably about time we started writing down, human only. So what I'm writing down is a real thing.
Yeah.
So this is a very interesting space, and we'll wait to see how this evolves.
Yes.
Because and even in the creation space.
Yeah.
I think in our podcast again, we'll have to, I think, although we'll be talking about AI all the time.
Yes.
But we'll have to put a clear banner in there saying this is a human podcast.
Yeah.
This is just real us, humans talking to each other.
Yeah.
Because already there are softwares where essentially what we could do is we could just picture, just do a short video of me and yourself, and subsequently we could just load scripts onto that.
Yeah.
And it would learn our styles. It would talk exactly like we're talking. It would probably make jokes.
Yeah.
And so the person watching, it'd be almost impossible for them to figure out if this is the real or if this is purely AI.
Yeah.
Although you can still figure it out. Something which is, I don't know, too polished or too almost perfect.
Yeah.
It's got a plasticky feel to it.
Yeah.
But I suspect even this will be addressed in the next few months as things get a bit smarter and smarter.
Yes.
But I think to your point, which is very important, and the reason we have this this gold standard for human evolution.
Yeah.
In terms of AI, is what you don't want is you don't want AI to make you completely redundant.
Yes.
Because as humans, we've got this ability not just to create stuff like we've done with AI.
Yes.
But if we do it the right way,
Yeah.
then we can continue to stay on top of it, or stay a step ahead.
Yeah.
And not let AI sort of drive our lives.
Yeah.
Because it's just a matter of time before people are going to be completely compromised.
Yes.
Because their information, everything is going to be out there.
Yeah.
And if people, if it is so easy to do stuff and you just start delegating stuff, your creativity begins to go down.
Yes.
And that is why we suggest in our model, which is the Platinum Man model, which we're pushing here at Enzo, is that it's important for us to, we can and we should use AI,
Yeah.
but then there's got to be, it needs to be followed by, just like we were having this conversation.
Yes.
It needs to be followed by sessions, whether it is in our office,
Yeah.
or wherever we are, in terms of understanding stuff and challenging it.
Yeah.
In sessions or in
Yes.
conversations where the AI is not there. So
Yeah.
you've used AI for an hour, you've done your research,
Yeah.
and then as human beings, you basically go ahead and discuss it and articulate it.
Yeah.
And so you're forcing yourself to take all that knowledge,
Yeah.
and you're sort of getting a jump ahead
Yeah.
in terms
Be
of what
critical
you do.
about it so you can.
And you're critical about it.
Yeah.
And then so it's it's not a human in the loop. I think it needs to go beyond that. It should be not just orchestration,
Yeah.
because it's you can easily get misled
Yeah.
by the way this is evolving.
Yes.
So you can say, okay, I'll oversee this. And if you just start overseeing it and this thing gets smarter and smarter, it's just a matter of time before it can oversee stuff better than you can do.
Yeah.
So they'll have some kind of an agent, which is, it's already happening. You've got multi-agent things going on.
Yeah.
So you'll have one agent who will designate as somebody, the overseer or the orchestrator or the quality, sort of reviewer.
Yes.
Right? And that is the end of you, as a person.
Yeah.
So if we want to grow with this,
Yes.
so if we take the approach that we're talking about,
Yeah.
where we use AI,
Yeah.
but then we get ourselves to sort of further refine it and improve it and drive it.
Yeah.
That is how we can truly evolve with AI.
Yes.
Which was our initial, when we started this off, we were saying, evolving with AI is what we chose.
Yeah.
So it's important that we evolve with AI versus, just getting overwhelmed and excited with all the stuff we can have and, sort of delegating everything to it.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think it was an interesting conversation, but I suspect to keep things brief and not turn this into a very long podcast, I think we'll continue with the rest of the news on all the different AI domains in our next episode.
Okay.
But I think this today was a good session about in terms of getting to understand where things are going and what approach we should be adopting.
Absolutely.
Would you agree?
Yes, I completely agree.
Great. So until next time,
Thank you.
we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.